I usually start out a conversation, again, I only have 5 minutes, so I'm gonna just get right with it. So I'm not a football player right now, but I'm always a linebacker in spirit. So I'm gonna ask you guys this question. Who woke up this morning and said, I wanna be a lung cancer advocate? Who woke up and said, I'm gonna be a lung cancer advocate? It came to me last night, my purpose in life, I am going to be a lung cancer advocate. Well, unless you're in lung cancer, like Dr. Curran right there, or somebody that's directly affected, there is no way that you're saying that. And I can say that while we're here, who wakes up and says, I want to be a cancer advocate? Can I do that? All right? Please pick me. I want to be a cancer advocate. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. So when we're seeing this information up here, it is so important that we realize that. And so you're asking, how did I become a cancer advocate? Because I did not jump up and say, pick me. My wife was diagnosed, 37 years old. Amazing shape. Keisha, I was hoping she'd be up there, but it's okay. I want you guys to know, 37 years old, amazing shape. Challenging me to do a 10K and do P90X with her. Just got finished playing in the NFL, and she's challenging me, this beautiful, intelligent woman, and she's challenging me to work out with her, and all of a sudden, in December of 2010, she had a little shortness of breath. With that little shortness of breath, if she was like some of us men, if she was like some other people, she might have said, you know what? It's all good. It's okay. But she was honest with herself, and she had a great relationship with her primary care doc, and so what she said is, I need to go in. It was a little shortness of breath, but she said, I've got to go in. She was up to date with all of her appointments, and she felt that there was something that was wrong because she had a relationship with her body. And so she understood that there was something wrong, and then she was confident enough to make sure that she went in. And so she went into her doctor with that relationship. He said, here's some antibiotics, a little shortness of breath, but let's just go over to radiology and let's get a chest x-ray. That chest x-ray came back with a mass in her left lung. 37 years old, had never smoked in her life, in amazing shape. A few days later, because that primary care doc took control and got a biopsy, and 2 days after Christmas in 2010, we found out that my wife, 37 years old, this amazing woman, had lung cancer. About a week later, she had got a PET scan ordered, and all of a sudden we find out stage 4 lung cancer. So we found out the two most important facts, too quick, that anyone can get it. 37-year-old woman that never smoked, that was in amazing shape, could get it. And that unfortunately, too often it's diagnosed late stage. So my wife progressed, and we got diagnosed. We had biomarker testing to find out if these new therapies would work. Unfortunately, she was negative for it, and so unfortunately, just like too many people, a year later she passed away. December 27, 2011. But before she passed, we had a chance to get married, and that was in November 27, 2011. And before that day that we got married, my wife came to me. She said, what if we don't get presents? What if we ask our family and friends to donate to the foundation so we can fight against cancer? And she wasn't feeling well. She wasn't doing well, but she knew that it would take a team. So it wasn't about her, but she was empowering the people around her by standing up. She made a choice. And with that choice, she is the inspiration for our movement to change the face of lung cancer. And change the face of lung cancer, we want to make sure that people understand that prevention is not enough, that early detection matters, that treatment matters, research matters, because we need more survivors, right? So I say that. So I say specifically for lung cancer that we have to maximize the things in terms of early detection. We have screening, but we have to maximize it. Not enough people are being screened. We have treatment options. We have to have 100% biomarker testing because there are tremendous treatment options, and we got to get them to people. We heard about the health disparities. We've got to get them to people because there are people that are surviving longer. There are people that are surviving and thriving. So we know that research works, but we've got to make sure it gets to the people so we can have more survivors. But on the front side of that, here's what I want to go back to as we're going to get to risk factors. And we're going to talk about kind of preventative medicine. So I have to say that my wife was in amazing shape. I have to say that my wife was a graduate with an electrical engineering degree from Clemson University. She was educated. She was in shape. She had tremendous character, so she had an ability to look at herself. And so when she got diagnosed, because of the relationship with herself and her community, we didn't have to worry. Roger Goodell called me after my wife got diagnosed. Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, said, what do you need? I said, my wife has a tremendous network around her. Not only does she have people that'll lift her up and remind her to be positive and hopeful, but she has a tremendous network. So if we have any questions, they're going to go find the answers. And so as we're here today, I think that's what's so important is not everyone has that. When we talk about cancer disparities, not everyone has a team already in place. Not everyone is educated so well where they can actually understand what's going on up here. She asked the question, what is an IRB? Oh my goodness, what is 2020? What is biomarkers? I mean, this is foreign. I was sharing, for most people, if we talked about staging, they would say, were we talking about staging? All right? And then if you say, well, what's bad? And they were like, well, help me out with that. All right, so there's a limited knowledge. So I think as we're here today, what we want to accept is that unless you're in this room, unless you've picked being an advocate or you had to become an advocate, that you do not know much at all. And if we want to do something different, if we want to change where things are, then we have to understand that ignorance can only be cured with education. And so as we're here and we say we want to make a change, we want to close these gaps, these cancer disparities, then the question that we really have to pose to ourselves is, are we willing to go to the places? Are we willing to go to the people to actually make the change? Are we going to go to the same places and then wonder why we got the same results? Somebody would say that's insanity. Or are we going to actually go to the people and we're going to recognize that we have to do it? And then along that way, are we going to promote the things that we know? The things that we know can make a difference. My wife didn't smoke, but we do know that smoking is connected to way too many cancers. So we have got to go in and we have to say that is unacceptable. We've got to make sure that doesn't happen, but also give alternatives, because we know that athletics is not just about playing in the NFL, but it also reduces risk factors. We see obesity as number 2 up there. So when someone takes out PE, they take out recess, we have to make it clear that not only are they taking out this opportunity to move, but they're actually saying, I'm okay with cancer risk going up. I'm okay with stroke going up. I'm okay with heart disease going up. I'm okay with all these risk factors going up, because I must be okay with obesity if I'm not encouraging movement. Are we going to fight for education? Because it's not just about getting in a great school, but we understand that you cannot understand this information if you don't have basic education, right? And then are we going to talk about character and the honesty that you have to have with your body and yourself? Because if you don't have that, if you don't have courage, then you won't go in. If you don't build a relationship, the doctor can't tell you. They can't tell you how you're exactly feeling if you're not willing to share. So as we move forward, we're talking about cancer disparities. Are we willing to go to those places? Are we willing to educate? And then are we willing to talk about these basic things that we know can reduce cancer risk, and then go after them with a sense of urgency that is, I told you, said I'm not, a sense of urgency like we're about to play us a game. A sense of urgency like that win has to happen. A sense of urgency like your wife just got diagnosed when you got done playing in the NFL, and that every day matters. Are we willing to do it? I'm good. Thank you, God.